Within the world of Kagurabachi, those who have reached the pinnacle of sorcery and swordsmanship were given an honor at the onset of the Seitei War, the privilege to wield one of the 6 enchanted blades. These swords, born of the toxic Datensuki stabilized by the hammer of Kunishige Rokuhira, were fundamental in bringing an end to the conflict. One of the sword bearers chosen was the master of the infamous Ei White Purity style, Seiichi Samura. Samura is a blind man who uses the sound of his blade being sheathed to perform echolocation and attack his opponents. Additionally, he can detect hostility, and the gun-like speed of his blade is among one of the fastest attacks in the entire story so far. In today's video, we're going to try to find out not only how fast he is, but how strong he is, and if he can take a hit. So starting off with speed, Samura's strongest stat, he's able to perception blitz the mercenary sorcerers in chapters 50 and 51 without an enchanted blade, and even one-shots them when they pull out Datensuki. This remains consistent as Samura is stated to have the fastest EI by Uraha and has not had his speed directly reacted to by anyone in the series. Hirohiko in chapter 76 is able to anticipate the movements of Samura and in a sense aim counter, but he can't keep up with his speed. However, once we start talking about Tobimune Samura, the conversation gets even crazier. The primary of Tobimune, Samura's enchanted blade, is twofold: teleportation and sensing. The feathers of Crow feed Samura information on his surroundings, and he can teleport to each individual feather. Through his true realm, Samura is able to form all the feathers together into wings for high-speed movement and flight, and presumably uses this to cut down Chihiro in chapter 59, perception blitzing the protagonist and even killing him. This is the bread and butter of Samura's speed calcs. In chapter 21, Hiyuki comments on the speed of Nishiki, stating that it is faster than Mei cloaking, which is at the speed of lightning, according to Kazane. The statement that Mei cloaking is lightning speed goes uncontested throughout the series, but we cannot take the Nishiki statement at face value. Nobody was there to watch the fight, and nobody knew that Chihiro and Sojo multiplied their spirit energy and speed. Base Nishiki Chihiro does not scale in speed to base Mei cloaked Sojo. 3x Nishiki Chihiro scales above 2x Mei cloaked Sojo in speed. If we continue with Sojo being at lightning time, then we can assume that 2x Sojo is twice the speed of lightning, and using the Versus Battle Wiki, this gives us a speed of Mach 1282 times 2, which is Mach 2564. 3x Chihiro outspeeds this, and we do not have a quantification for how much he does, but Sojo is still barely able to react. However, if we divide 2x Sojo speed by 3, this gives us a lowballed estimate for Chihiro's base Nishiki speed at an unknown amount of speed between Mach 855, which is a third of 2x Sojo's speed, and Mach 1282, which is, as stated before, the speed of Mei cloaking. And as Samura perception blitzes Chihiro, something even Mei cloaking couldn't do, we can conclude that the speed of the Ei Crow that Samura uses has to scale beyond Mei cloak Sojo due to Chihiro not being able to react. Okay, that's a lot of words for 2 feats, so let's simplify that. When Sojo and Chihiro have their final fight, they multiplied their spirit energy that they used for their speed abilities. At base Nishiki and base Mei cloaking, they're moving at speeds where they can react to each other and maintain some relativity. Chihiro is still clearly slower even after losing an arm though. However, when Sojo multiplies his spirit energy by 2, he begins to outpace Chihiro massively, and it's only after tripling his spirit energy that Chihiro is able to outspeed him. This means that base Nishiki's speed has to be greater than a third of 2x Sojo's speed, and even that speed was nothing before the power of Samura's Ei White Purity style and Tobimune's Crow. Since Chihiro couldn't even react, this puts it over lightning time. So for speed, we can give Samura over lightning time. Got it? Okay, let's move on to Samura's AP. For AP feats, we haven't seen Samura's full strength or output, but we do have a panel where it clashes blades with Chihiro and Hirohiko in chapter 77. They push back against the attack, but the shockwave from their blades clashing breaks through the Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel, a massive building that had the floor they were on heavily damaged as a result. We can use this and a feat that we'll get to later to show that Samura should scale to large building level. As for his durability, due to Newton's third law, he should be able to put his durability at that level, but his durability in Kagurabachi isn't that consistent. Or more accurately to say, durability in general in Kagurabachi isn't that consistent. So let's start off with the first shown metric for his durability, Kumeyuri Play. This ability allows someone to control anything the wielder considers an object, which can apply to corpses as well. When Hirohiko uses Play to control corpses and Banquet to induce hallucinations in Samura, the end result is Samura being stunned and mutilated, put at death's doorstep. There is nothing indicating that spirit energy is being poured into the swords that they use, or that they have any durability negating power. This means that regular swords were also able to kill Samura. And this means that Samura is unfortunately, despite being amongst the strongest, also a glass cannon. Anyone can hit remotely hard to put Samura down. And with that, we can confidently say the hardest part of fighting Samura is his speed. And with that, I mean, I don't really think there's much else to say. I mean, Yuji's Black Flash would easily kill him in one shot, and he's just overhyped, honestly. I mean, one Kuro, and he's probably down for the count. But thanks for watching, y'all. That's what I'd say if Samura didn't have cheat codes on his damn sword. Samura willingly took this attack and turned off his reinforcement because he needed a counter to the poisoning hallucinations of Kumayuri's other ability, Banquet. And so, to put Hirohiko in his place, he used his trump card, Suzaku, which translates to Vermilion Bird. And you know what that means? This shit mean Phoenix. So, the power of the Phoenix to combust and be reborn. Suzaku is a regenerative ability that can heal others as well as Samura, and that restores fatal damage and can even resurrect Chihiro, as shown in Chapter 60. This ability also has some kind of loophole, which gives Samura infinite stamina, as alluded to in Chapter 79. And this means that Suzaku Samura is an immortal, unstoppable force, kind of. But, okay. Let's ignore the play, getting mutilated moment. Let's look at his durability. If he willingly took those attacks, how much can he actually take? And we see in Chapter 78 that Samura is completely unaffected by a point-blank release of Twilight Wave, Kuguri's heat storage sorcery. For 7 months, Kuguri had been storing heat to use as an explosive attack against Samura, and using the calculations from fellow Bocce Bro Detective on Twitter, which will be shown on screen and linked in the description, we have a few potential calcs for how much energy Samura casually took here. At a low ball, Samura's durability is at large building level, which is narratively consistent. At a high ball, Samura's durability is at city block level, which, depending on, if we see him in action in the Seiichi War, could honestly be a low ball. And now, let's look at the last of his abilities, the all-seeing eyes of Owl. Owl is a recon ability that allows Samura to use Crow to teleport anywhere that Owl can see. This is shown by Samura's ability to appear anywhere in Japan when casting it over the nation in chapters 59 and 74. Owl blocks out the sun, leading to changes in weather when it is used for prolonged periods of time, and the larger scale of Owl, the less accuracy it has with detecting spirit energy signatures. On a large scale, it can only detect enchanted blades, and on a smaller scale, it can detect even smaller spirit energy signatures, likely civilians and sorcerers. And since Samura is able to casually use Owl for days across an entire country without any signs of exhaustion, without Suzaku, it means that once you've become his target, you can't escape Seiichi Samura. His final asset is one that we have seen used many times already, the terrifying power of the True Realm. The True Realm is an enigmatic bonus tied to each enchanted blade. It's this ability to surpass the theoretical limits of their 3 main abilities, to create extension abilities, apply their abilities in unintended ways, or even create new ones born of combinations. Some blades create applications based on other blades, such as Maycloaking, and other blades unleash full-powered ultimate attacks combining all their abilities into one to cause massive devastation, like a certain other incident we'll talk about in another video. Samura's tapped into the True Realm to use Crow for high-speed movement, and to use Suzaku on inanimate objects to heal them. It's implied that his tapping into the True Realm also allowed him to find some loophole or ability to restore his stamina. I'll work under the assumption this means that Suzaku can, for the duration it's up, restore Samura's spirit energy. So to recap, Samura's combat speed is well beyond that of Lightning Time. His durability and AP scale to the large building to city block range. He has stamina hacks, and despite being blind, he will always be able to see you thanks to Owl, which makes escape impossible. Seiichi Samura, as one of the 6 legendary sword bearers of the Seiichi War, is a force to be reckoned with, and I cannot wait to start putting him in versus battles, especially once we see all he can do, and by the end of the Sword Bearer's assassination arc, we'll see everything. Hopefully, at least. With that said, I'm Bingle, or Artisfaria, and thank you so much for watching my video. I'm still new to this power scaling stuff, so if you got critiques or complaints, please try to be mindful of that. If you're going to say anything in the comments, show a little bit of respect, a little bit of grace, But that's all I got. Y'all have a damn good one.